are you doing? There's Sarah.
Hi.
I'm Lisa. How you guys doing? We are very excited. There's some really cool stuff that's come out this week. So we have our Love Notes Mystery quilt from Kimberbell, and today is day 2 that you were able to pick up first week's instructions. So we still have a few people that haven't come in yet, but we have some wonderful kits. So your fabric kit is part of what you will pick up this week. So you get all of the fabrics for the entire quilt in this box, and the cutting instructions are included in your week 1 envelope. So just to make sure, you should have a 1-cent stamp in that upper right hand corner.
Hi,
if
Karen.
you don't have a 1-cent stamp, then I screwed up and you'll have to give me a call. So in here you have, for the embroidery, you have a CD that has all of the embroidery files for the entire quilt on there, but you only have the instructions for this week's patterns.
It's a secret. You can't know. We know. It's not a secret to us anymore,
It's
but
not.
we can't share it with you.
We
But
might
it's
have
so
sneaked a
cute.
peek. So also in your box is your embellishment kit. So you guys have lots of fun goodies, maybe some things that you haven't played with before that are in there, including a pretty lace zipper and some really fun stuff in there. So, your turn.
Okay, so if you're doing sewing or embroidery, it doesn't matter. The kit is going to be the same. So I know we have a handful of people who are actually going to be doing this the old traditional machine and applique way. So like I said, your fabric kits and your embellishment kits are exactly the same. It's the instructions that are going to be a little bit different. So if you thought you were doing sewing and you had a CD in yours, oops. We're human, so we do make mistakes, and we do apologize, and vice versa. If you thought you want to put it in the drawer with mine?
Yep.
If you thought you were supposed to be doing embroidery and you didn't get a CD, then oops again, we totally messed up. We see you guys. Hi Ann. Hi Holly.
Hi, Holly.
Thanks for joining us. Like we said, we're doing this Kimberbell mystery quilt. This is Love Notes. Lisa and I both did our version of the row 1, and we did them a little bit differently, which is perfect. So it's nice that you can do different things. And I did 1 block in the sewing way, so I can show you what the applique might look like. So
hi Kathy. Hi Karen.
hi Barb.
Hi Barb. So we see you guys popping up. So I did mine all on the embroidery machine. I tried something a little bit different than I've done for some other Kimberbell quilts, and I actually pre-quilted my background pieces before I actually sewed those on. So this is my stitch out from this week's designs. You've got 2 different camera pieces. So there's actually 3 here, but there's 2 of them that are the same file, and then the middle one is a second file, so they're angled a little bit differently. So make sure that you're picking the right design as you're selecting off of your USB stick. One of the things that I kind of skimmed over, and then I'm really glad I went back to read the instructions, is it does recommend that you use a black bobbin thread as well as black top thread when you're doing these thinner letters. It is very, very common to see your bobbin thread come up to the top, so that you can get little spots that don't look quite as crisp. So yeah, I know we're like,
Yeah, see, some of us follow directions better than others.
So so those are some things that I definitely recommend that you do. You do want to put a black thread in your bobbin just for those straight thin letters. What you also want to remember
Hi, Mom.
is to change it back. Hi, Mom. Is to change it back. So you'll notice I forgot that. So don't do like I did this time around. And you want to make sure that you have that white on there so you don't see any of your stuff coming through on the other. One other little tip that again, if you read the instructions, it's actually there, but I know a lot of us get so used to what we're doing, we don't necessarily read everything that's on there.
Because we know better.
Because we know what we're doing, right? So on the leather, which is the heart here in the center, that tack down stitch is actually the color. That's all there is. There's not a secondary applique or decorative stitch going around the outside edge. So what you tack that down with is the actual thread that will show. So I highly recommend you pay attention. And I have pink on mine, so you can't really see it.
I did mine in a
she did hers a little
darker
bit darker pink. Doesn't matter what color you choose. but do make sure that you've got what color you want showing on there.
That's probably the hardest part of the whole block is to
Definitely.
trim
That trimming
leather.
of that leather was like,
It was really tough.
hope you got your good scissors, and I'm
Yes.
sorry for all of you that your double curves are on back order. We're still waiting for them too. So speaking of thread, we do still have some thread kits that are available. They are the 8 colors that you would need. The only things that are not in there are the black and white, because we pretty much assumed you already had those, so wouldn't want to have to buy those again.
But we have black and white if you
But
need
I do
it.
have absolutely have black and white if you guys need that. So those thread kits are only $24 for all 8 spools. So it's a great price if you are looking to just stock up your threads too. So we have a list of different products that we used. So we're going to kind of bounce around and talk about different things that we suggest that you use while you're making these blocks.
Okay, so one of the things that we'll talk about, so some of you may have already watched the Kimberbell tips and techniques that she has. They talk a lot about 100% cotton woven fusible interfacing, and there are many on the market. My favorite is this one right here. So this is by Heat and Bond, and it's called Easy Tea Stabilizer. So it's this right here, and I'm sorry, I know it's mirrored on your guys' thing, but you'll have to trust me. It is Easy Tea Stabilizer. And one of my favorite reasons for using this one is it's actually pre-shrunk for you. So if you've ever used Shape Flex or 101 or something like that, and you've accidentally hit it with your iron later and it shrank, or it didn't fuse
You're
well.
quite right.
Those are some of my pet peeves about Shape Flex, I guess. And this one has a much better fusible on it, and it's pre-shrunk, so that works really well. So that's a really good thing to put on the back of it. So that's one of the things that Lisa and I did a little bit differently. I should have stock in this because I have lots and lots and lots of this at home.
I ran out, so I used something else. You
Which
use
is-
what you have, right?
That's right,
So
yeah.
that's kind of how it works.
And
However, we of course have some here if y'all need to come in and buy
Absolutely. And so Lisa used
So I used No Show Mesh, which this happens to be the Leabu brand. I used Fusible. So this is kind of in place of that. So I fused this to the back of all of my background fabrics. And then since I quilted it, I actually have a second piece of No Show that I had under there to hold all of those extra stitches. So that's what I ended up using on this week's. Next week, I'm going to try something different just for the heck of it. So I'll tell you what I used this week next time this week. Next week? What week is this?
Did you start your fabrics too?
I did.
Yeah. Did you use regular best press?
I use regular Best Press because I happen to have a gallon, because that's how I tend to buy it, and I haven't run out of that quite yet, but we've got some new cool stuff here. This is Best Press 2. So
The best thing about Best Press 2 is it's a lot like Terreal Magic, but it's not quite as gooey if you've ever used Terreal Magic. So if you like your stuff really stiff, like collars, with Best
you like
Press,
your fabric really stiff, let's be clear.
then with Best Press you have to spray it, or you have to spray it a lot. It has to be really wet, and then a few extra sprays sometimes while you're ironing that to get it to be as stiff as you would like it to be, your fabric to be stiff. Let's be clear. And this, you only have to put one of these. You only have to spray this once. So it's a lot. It is a lot stiffer. No, I can't say that without laughing.
Right?
Thank you.
So sorry.
It's a lot stiffer.
I'm always good for something, right?
So you don't have to use as much to get this as hard.
Wow. So let's move on to something else. For if you are doing this as a sewing project, so traditional applique instead of using an embroidery hoop for machine, there's a couple other products that you're probably going to want to have on hand.
One of them would be fusible web. In our instance, we use the Baby Lock fusible applique. And if you have this at home, I would just...
Don't follow the instructions
That's
that are
right.
on the bottle.
I just want to make sure that you guys know that the instructions on this are wrong. Hopefully Baby Lock is watching this and they're going to fix this. It says water-activated adhesive.
Yeah, so that's like a wet and stick. That's
This
not
is-
what's in that container.
No, this is just heat activated.
Yep.
So you just press it down with your iron, and remember to press, not iron. It's important to hold it on there for a couple of seconds at a high heat. and then you're good to go. Ignore everything that it says about water because none of that works on here.
Not actually part of that one.
No, it isn't part of that
No.
at all.
So,
And everybody's going to need this.
everybody's going to need marking pens. You do want to center your blocks as best as possible so that when you go to trim them down after the fact, you know where center was so that you have enough space around it. So there's lots of marking pens that are out there. What one did you grab?
This one is Air.
The Air.
Yeah.
That one's really cool. So it actually disappears all on its own in a couple of days. So you don't have to...
And if it doesn't, it has the disappearing mark at the bottom.
It has that too.
So if you can't wait.
If you have friction pens, whatnot, that is also a really great pen to use and mark your center points. One of the great things about most of these blocks is your center point is going to be completely covered up by whatever your applique is.
We forgot to
So,
put orange pop rulers out.
oh, yes, you'll need those. I don't think we have any. But I ordered some. So the Kimberbell order has been placed for any of you who joined me last weekend, well, week and a half
before.
ago. On the 'Tis the Season, all of those orders have been placed, and I did get some orange pop rulers on that order if you don't already have them. So in her instructions, it says, the backing is going to be 6.5 by 8.5, and then you stitch, and then it says trim that down to 4.5 by 6.5. So their rulers are phenomenal. Orange pop, basically, you're cutting on the inside instead of the outside of the ruler. We had some here at some point. Oh, look at that. It's a miracle. We can even put our hands on it. We don't know where anything is at anymore.
This is the wrong size.
So
But it's
that's
the right
obviously not a
concept.
4.5 by 6.5 ruler, but that is the correct type. So those are available in both square and in rectangle. So those are really great rulers if you don't already have them. I generally use mine with a rotary mat. So you just turn it, cut one side, turn it again, and so on and so forth. The Quilter Select rulers also work really well to hold on to that fabric so that as you can actually turn it, there's the rotary. She's spinning. There she goes. So I see your question, Karen. Yes, absolutely. So what I did on mine, I did pre-quilt my blocks. So I ended up using 2 layers of the no-show fusible mesh. All right. Sarah used a Easy Tea stabilizer, which is a pre-washed, so pre-shrunk, not washed, pre-shrunk woven stabilizer that she pressed to her backing. So we just did basically the same thing using slightly different products. And then she had her heavy tearaway underneath to support all of those stitches. So those were the 2 she used. I used 2 layers of this time around. Next week, I'll tell you what I chose to use this time around. And we've got Best Press too. You definitely want to starch those fabrics so that they're nice and crisp and you get some great end result, no puckering, because that's the goal. Absolutely the goal. Thread kits, like I said, we have that. You will need some sort of a marking pen to mark center. This one is an Air erase pen. There are certainly many other ones out there. Depending on what type you have, whether you did the sewing version or whether you have the embroidery version, you're going to want to use fusible applique for your applique pieces if you are sewing. You do not need that if you are doing embroidery. And then, of course, a smattering of different types of needles. So again, if you are using the embroidery version, you have both a 9014 or a 7511, depending on how much you're pushing through. So those layers that have the leather plus multiple things, you probably are going to want to up that embroidery-wise, at least to the 9014, or you could switch, make sure I'm holding up the right one, into a microtex as well. So for sewing.
Yep, sewing microtex. I used the microtex when I did mine, and in case
I think that's her favorite needle.
might
She
be
uses
my
it all the
favorite needle.
time.
Yes, I do use them a lot. might be true.
So
This is a sample of
little bit higher. There
the
you go.
applique block with the blanket
So you can see
stitch.
the blanket stitch here. And then this up here is actually felt. So what you're going to use instead of thread to create the flash, you're actually using the white felt that is in handy dandy embellishment kits. So that does come with that as well.
So if you are a machine embroiderer and you're wondering why you have felt
Why
in
do I
there,
have this?
that is because they only did one kit for the sewing and embroidery versions. And
Hi,
so you
Karen.
ladies won't need to use your felt. So you can use that for another product. but you will use just about everything else. The cutting directions are a little bit different because there's a couple
Sizes
of extra.
are going to be different.
Yeah, and the sizes were mostly the same, but there were added pieces. So, like the eyepiece on the camera here. So, if you were doing this by regular traditional embroidery, we did this in applique, and the rest of you guys did this with just thread. So that's where your black and your white thread was going. So that was really the only thing that was different, is you just added a few other pieces. So if you have a friend that's doing it one way and another friend that's doing it the other way, you might have more pieces than her. So na 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 na.
Karen says she's waving.
Hi Teresa.
Hi Teresa. Hi Kathy. So we're trying to catch everybody as they pop up there. So sorry if we missed you. Hello to you too. We would love to answer any questions if you guys have them as the week progresses and you're working on it. Certainly give us a buzz and say, hey, what did you say to do on this, that, or the other thing? Or this video will, of course, be in our feed. So you can, if you just needed a good laugh, you can come back and check it out again.
Watch it again. Over and over
Watch
again.
it over and over again until you just can't take it anymore. And that's about everything that we've got for you. So hopefully you guys have a great time stitching it. I know that I did.
No. You aren't the only one saying hi back. Hi.
No. Hi. So yeah, if you have some questions, please give the store a call, 734-663-3033, and we'll be happy to help. Or of course, you can shoot us an email as well. So speaking of some going-ons at the store, you will probably see us tomorrow afternoon at the same time. So Brother Convention is only virtual this year. However, it is technically happening, I guess.
Tomorrow.
And it's tomorrow, and it starts at noon. So we will have all of the, hopefully have all of the details on some of the new comings and goings and what's happening with the different machines. So any of those sneak peeks that we can share with you, we will be on, good luck, Kathy. So we will be back on Facebook Live tomorrow afternoon, and we'll tell you what we found out at the video that we get to watch at noon.
Yes,
so
we'll take lots of notes.
We'll share all of the good details that we find out, and we look forward to talking and seeing you guys then.
Yep.
Anything else?
There was a couple of other questions on there that I saw scroll by. So yes, we still have kits. I was able to successfully get some more. I thought I forgot to order them.
we may have a couple extra.
So I ordered them again. So yes, we have plenty. So if anyone else wants to join in, we have sewing and embroidery.
Because doesn't this look like fun?
And what, $169.95 for the embroidery plus tax.
The embroidery came to $180.15, I think, after tax, and that includes, again, all of your fabrics for the binding in the front of the quilt, your embellishment kit, and all of the designs.
Yes.
So,
and
we do have more sewing kits available as well.
Yes,
so that was a little bit less. So, but yes, please give us a call or shoot us an email if you would like us to set one aside for you. And aren't we funny, Connie? I know, it's just
SNL,
right?
We're the Saturday
Night Live skits. She's SML, those SNL, and we're the comedy skit. So what are you gonna do? So thank you for joining us. I hope you all have a great time, and we will see you tomorrow afternoon.
Bye. Hi, Jessica.
Hi, Jess.
Bye.
Bye.